Let's dive right in. The latest market movements around the globe. Asia-Pacific markets are feeling the Fed's impact today as minutes from the US Federal Reserve revealed a divided opinion on rate hikes. The Nikkei 225 fell 1% in Japan while the Cosby dropped 0.8% in South Korea. It seems the Fed's tightening cycle is causing some jitters across the region. Over in the United States market, it ended on a somber note after the release of the Fed minutes. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite rounded off the losses, falling almost 1% and took a breather from their recent winning streaks. But there's some good news for the oil bulls as well. US crude oil surged about 3%, narrowing the price gap with Brent crude. Saudi Arabia and Russia's supply cuts fueled the rally as market participants eagerly await US demand data for 4th of July weekend. Gold prices took a slight hit after an uptick in the dollar and US Treasury yields weighed on the precious metal. After the Federal Reserve's June policy meeting, expectations of higher rates for longer seem to be solidified. That has solidified the dollar against a basket of other currencies as well. In the currency space, it is the ruble that is facing maximum selling pressure. The Russian currency currently trades at 91 to the dollar after the mutiny that briefly threatened the Russian president's hold on power. And to discuss the rally in Indian markets, we're now joined by market expert Amrish Baliga, live from Mumbai. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Good morning.
Now, sir, what are the factors behind Indian stock markets touching new highs?
No, see, I mean, you look at the Q4 earnings, which came out about 2 months back. I mean, they were excellent, much better than what was expected. Macro numbers have been good. If you look at GST, you look at the growth, you look at the inflation is benign. RBI has stalled rate hikes. Look at the oil and currency. They've been steady. I mean, although we have seen oil bouncing back a bit, but it's still much lower than where it was a couple of months back. PM's US visit also was an icing on the cake. And you look at the institutional flows. I mean, they've been positive for the last couple of months. I mean, if you look at the last 2 years and now, it's quite positive. And the monsoon, I think, was the only joker in the pack. But then even that we have seen picking up in the last couple of days. So when you don't have too many negatives, the market clearly attracts a lot of liquidity. And that's the reason why we're touching new highs.
Right, so that being said, are the stock market highs an indication of India's strong macroeconomic fundamentals?
Yes, I think we are clearly better off than most of our peers as well as developed economy. I mean, in terms of growth. And today we are the 5th largest economy, and possibly over the next few years will become the 3rd largest. So clearly the money flows into those economies which are expected to do well.
Right, sir. Now, so do you see the Indian stock markets being able to keep up that momentum in the near future when the US economy is expected to enter recession?
See, with the US economy slowing down, I think that will clearly affect our exports. But when a global economy is slowing down, it will also affect India to a certain extent, though we will continue to be one of those bright spots. But then if you're talking of long term, clearly, I think the Indian economy is clearly on an upward trajectory and the markets also should be bullish. But then if you're talking of short to medium term, I think although everything seems fine, but when the markets are at a high, the expectations also from the earnings would be quite high. And Q1 earnings could possibly disappoint on that front. And that could be one of the reasons for that correction, which I think is overdue. So I think if you're talking of the next couple of months, I think we could see some correction. We could see the markets going through a time-wise correction. But then if you're talking of long term, clearly I'm quite bullish on India as such.
All right. And Mr. Baliga, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast with your inputs on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.